Welcome to Back Bay Bistro here at beautiful Newport Dunes. Today, we're going to show you how to cook a great New York steak. Not much says summer like a great New York steak on a home barbecue. So today, instead of cooking the New York steak on a professional grill, we're going to use a home grill. So it's a little bit more convenient for everybody. You'll get to say the same thing that we do. First things first, you want to cook the steak on a hot grill. Very first thing you do is turn the grill on. New York steak. There's a couple different methods of a New York steak. One, you want to purchase the best quality New York steak you can. A select, don't buy it. Most of the steaks in the world are choice and higher. Higher meaning Angus, prime, Kobe. What we have today is prime. Some of the ways you check for this, which I'll cut down in a second. First off, a full New York strip. You want to cut a piece. Some of the things you want to look for is marbling. Marbling is flavor. When you go to the market and you see a New York in the cabinet that's perfectly maroon, not a single white specks in it, that's not good. If you see this New York where it has all the white specks in it, that's flavor. When you cook a New York without those specks, it'll be tough. Okay? Next thing you want to do is you want to trim this New York. There is sinew right here that you need to cut off because it's like eating a rubber band. Cut the fat on the tail part. You want to cut that. And along the back side, you want to trim it just a little bit. So then you have a New York. New York steak. You see these beautiful marbling?
Some of the tricks
it's going to create flavor.
New York steak.
Some of the tricks, you want a great rare steak, you take it from your refrigerator, set it on the counter, 5 minutes, season it, cook it. You want the center to be cold, it'll make a perfectly rare steak. If you want a well-done steak, my oldest daughter ate well-done steaks for years. As a chef, it killed me to try to do that. But what's the easiest way to cook a New York steak well done? Let your steak sit out. You let it get to room temperature. If it's cold, you will never get the center of it cooked fully without the outside getting dried out. So if you want to cook a well-done steak, God forbid, but if you want to cook a well-done steak, let it sit out for 20 minutes to 30 minutes and let it get to room temperature. Now that we have our steaks cut, we want to season it. Many people season it with a lot of different things. I personally like it simple, so you can still taste the great flavor of the meat. Salt, black pepper, and granulated garlic. That's what we use. Very simple, very straightforward. Also, when you take your steak out, to let it sit for a few minutes. Season it then. Don't wait. It'll be fine. You'll season it. It'll be nice. It'll get in. You want to season both sides. Also with seasoning, you can season it after, but you want to put a little bit of salt on it. There's a couple of things that definitely need salt. Red meat needs salt. Tomatoes need salt. Potatoes need salt. All three of which we're going to do today. Now that we have these seasoned, the grill has been on for quite a while. The grill is over 600 degrees because we preheated it. Very, very big secret to cooking a perfect steak is to preheat your grill. If you don't, you're going to get really inconsistent amount of cooking. You'll get the outside of it, it'll be cooked, the inside of it won't. And then with the way the heat is, you'll get the center of it cooked and you won't be able to get any temperatures on it. All right, that being said, we have a couple other dishes that go with this today. So we're going to set this aside for a minute and let them get a little bit room temperature. We are going to do oven roasted potatoes, which we've already roasted. This is a baked potato, a baker potato that we cut into wedges. I steamed it first and then I roasted it for a little bit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put 4 of them in a saute pan. And then we're going to take fresh thyme. Pick the thyme, pick the thyme, pick the thyme. The stems aren't bad, they just don't have any flavor, and it's kind of chewy when you eat it. That's enough thyme. Fresh rosemary, Same thing, pick, 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 and fresh garlic. Now, just want to chop it a little bit. You don't have to cut this very fine, but you do definitely want to cut it. If you don't cut it, it won't release all of the flavors. Put it on top of your potatoes. Take the garlic, very coarse chop on the garlic. Put it also on that. We have extra virgin olive oil. Put it on. And then we have truffle oil. Truffle oil you can get in any market, any specialty market, Gelson's, Whole Foods, you can get. It adds a tremendous amount of flavor. Put that on. And again, season it with a little salt and pepper. You want to toss it. Make sure everything gets seasoned. And then put it right on the grill. Because we pre-cooked this, you really just want to heat these up, get a little bit more color, let the garlic get some flavor, let that come out, let the herbs and everything come out also. Next, we're going to do a stuffed tomato. The tomato, this, welcome to summer. This is an heirloom tomato. Heirloom tomatoes are the top of the best of the tomato that you can get. Funky colors, great flavor, a lot more natural sugars inside the tomato, a lot more flavor, a lot more heartiness to it in the flavor of a tomato. So what you want to do is we're going to cut the top of it. Pull the top off. And we're going to cut around and hollow the tomato out. This you can also save for a sauce, a salsa, anything that you want. I would not suggest throwing it away. There's plenty of great uses for it. Take a spoon and just scoop the rest of the inside out. Okay. Now that the center is hollow, again, certain things that need salt, a tomato, potato, steak, season the inside. If you do not season the inside of this, it'll taste flat. Okay. The ingredients for the stuffed tomato: 2 cups of panko breadcrumbs, 1 cup of crumbled blue cheese, 1 cup of Parmesan, and 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. I know it seems odd to put sun-dried tomatoes in a stuffing for a tomato, but it gives it more tomato depth of flavor. Add this all in here. And also we have 2 ounces of garlic, chopped garlic. Mix this all together. Get it a good mix. Get all the flavors together. It's all mixed with the panko breadcrumbs, the crumbled blue cheese, the Parmesan, the chopped garlic, and the sun-dried tomatoes. Now we're going to stuff the tomato. We take the tomato, put it in a saute pan, and stuff the tomato. Be generous with this. This you don't want to pack. Don't pack. You want to kind of keep it nice and loose. The harder you pack it, the longer it'll take to cook, and the less that the cheese will melt and get in. So then we want to take a little bit of olive oil, drizzle the olive oil all on top. Extra virgin olive oil, buy good olive oil. And then again, put it right in the grill. And as these are cooking, you can see the color that's already kind of gotten onto this. Smells phenomenal. Okay. Now that everything is ready for the steaks, a secret, which is not the safest, not the smartest thing to do, but you want to take a towel, put some oil on it, take your grill, and wipe it on the grill. This, first off, will not make the steak stick. It'll also give it nice sear marks on it. Your grill, notice how clean the grill grates are? The grill grates should be clean. The whole inside of this should be clean. It creates better heat. It creates better heat distribution. Now that the grill has been seasoned with oil, now it's time to put the steaks on. Remember, the steaks have been seasoned. The temperature of this steak still is cool. It's not warm, it's not hot, but it is still cool. This will produce a perfect medium rare steak. And if you can hear the sizzle, sizzle is important. If you don't get the sizzle, you're not going to get a correct steak. Now there's a couple different schools of thought. My friends do charcoal. Charcoal adds flavor. If you like that flavor, great. I personally like the taste of a New York steak. The gas grill is the way to cook a steak or other fish, other meats, that you'll still retain the majority of the flavor of the meat. If you cook with the charcoal, you're going to add more flavor to it. And it's also more time consuming, and it's also a little bit dirtier. Now we're going to close the top of the grill. Also, when you cook the steak, do not press down on the steak. Every time that you press down on a steak, a burger, any kind of food that's on the grill, all you're doing is pushing flavor out of the meat, especially a burger. A burger is cooking and you're pressing it, you're pressing all the juice out, and now it's going to get much drier, a lot less flavorful, and it's not really good to do. So, you take the steak, you're going to turn it. Now when we turn it, we have nice beautiful marks on the steak. Because we season the grill, these are the marks that you get. If you don't season the grill, you may get marks, you may not get marks. But we're going to make a checkerboard on this. So all you do on that is you turn it. Shut the lid. Every time you shut the lid being closed retains some of the heat. So when you're cooking it, it's also baking it also. Now we are going to turn. Now once you flip these, you still want to cook the steaks on the same amount of time on each side. Again, we cooked this on 3.5 minutes on one side. We're going to cook it at 3.5 minutes on the other side. 7 minutes total. Should have a perfect medium rare steak. First thing we're going to do put on the plate are the potatoes. Now if you see that the potatoes, garlic is nice and cooked, the herbs have been cooked on it, beautiful, it smells phenomenal. Nice wedge cut potatoes. And at the end of this, we are going to put a little bit of the oil on top. You don't want to put it on until you have everything on the plate. Then we're going to take the New York steak, put it on the plate, nice and medium rare. The stuffed tomato. As you can see the tomato, the cheeses have been melted, the blue cheese, the Parmesan cheese, nicely melted. The outside of the tomato is nice and warm. This, again, you don't want to overcook. If you overcook this, the tomato now will fall apart. Now you take the tomato, put it on the plate, like this. Take the great oils that came on in here, a little bit on the potato. On our plate, our beautiful wedge cut potatoes with truffle herb oil, beautiful medium rare steak that's been seasoned with salt, black pepper, granulated garlic, our heirloom tomato that's been stuffed with Parmesan cheese, blue cheese, panko breadcrumbs, garlic, basil, sun-dried tomatoes, roasted in the oven. We roasted all of this and cooked all of this inside this grill. Very simple, very straightforward. This is how we do it here at Back Bay Bistro at beautiful Newport Dunes.